There's not one kind of woman, there's not one way to be. Remember, you are loved and created to be free. No one is your master, there's nobody to bow toward. Forever under heaven, there is only always one Lord.
Sometimes I'm embarrassed to call myself a pastor. The way we Christians treat women is an ethical disaster. We like them kneeling with their heads covered and silent. And if they dare to disobey, we're not above a little violence. Do you remember the victims in the texts of terror? Those aren't exceptions, they're a fucking systematic error. Go ahead, dress it up. Call it complimentary. But I ain't buying that, it's just the same misogyny. You proclaim Christ. Remember he was crucified, yet you replicate the system of oppression under which he died. Neither man nor woman, now that we're in Christ, believe it. This ain't Leave It to Beaver, so cut the Wally Cleaver shit.
There's not one kind of woman, there's not one way to be. Remember, you are loved and created to be free. No one is your master, there's nobody to bow toward. Forever under heaven, there is only always one Lord.
It's all about sex, and it's time you just admit it. You teach about submission because that's how you like to hit it. Behind every sermon about purity and chastity is just a grown man with a Catholic schoolgirl fantasy. It's ironic to be so obsessed yet so repressed. Keep them covered head to toe, imagine them undressed. Blame them if their crotch isn't a fortress unassailable, and tell them once they're married they had better be available. To hell with that. Egalitarian sex is where it's at. I'm no slave to my libido, and my partner's not a doormat. Communication and consent can make a sex life great, but you're afraid of talking straight. Hello, Vagina Gate.
There's not one kind of woman, there's not one way to be. Remember, you are loved and created to be free. No one is your master, there's nobody to bow toward. Forever under heaven, there is only always one Lord.
Rachel Held Evans is a tornado in your house of cards, knocking it down with her manutical performance art. Scream and shout she reads the Bible too selectively, cause when you do it just exposes your hypocrisy. It was you who took a poem cheering feminine virtue, turned it into another checklist for our girls to be compared to. Got them wondering if they'll ever be deemed worth your while, when they should have heard you shouting loudly as shit high. They don't need your approval and they don't need mine. When it comes to showing valor, well, they're doing fine. But it's time that you renounce your patriarchal reign. Like Sisera, it's done. 10 spike through its brain.
There's not one kind of woman, there's not one way to be. Remember, you are loved and created to be free. No one is your master, there's nobody to bow toward. Forever under heaven, there is only always one Lord.